Hello and welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. Stevie Nicol is back alongside myself, Kay Murray, and we will start by talking about the fact that Erling Haaland has won the FWA Footballer of the Year award ahead of Arsenal stars Bukayo, Saka and Martin Odegaard, who finished second and third respectively. Won by quite some way as well, 82% of the vote. That's an unprecedented 82% of the vote. Let's welcome in Don Hutchison and Julien Laurens to talk more about this. I'll start by asking, which has been a question we've asked here before, Jules, why has the vote been done now before the season's over?
So, good question. To be fair, I'm not really sure about the answer, I'll be honest. I don't know. I think the ceremony is next week on the 25th. I received the invitation yesterday or something. So maybe it's got something to do to, you have the vote, you tell the winner, then you can organize the dinner before the players go away on holidays, for example. I think this would be the idea. But it's really weird. In Italy, for example, they give them halfway through the following season, for example, the awards for the season. So it's very different to every country. I'm not really sure if any country gets it properly right. But we believe is to do it before the players go on holidays, which is usually at the straight after full time of the last game of the season, they're off. So at least that way you do it a little bit before, but that's the only explanation I can find.
Because obviously Arsenal are still in the title race, Jules. They might win it. Would that have changed things?
I don't think so. In other seasons, maybe yes. I just think that this season, whether City finished first or second, Erling Haaland has been so incredible in terms of all the goals he scored. Of course, we can argue that without De Bruyne, he wouldn't have scored that many, and you could get your vote for De Bruyne. You could see what Odegaard has been doing, which is also very remarkable this season. Bukayo, Saka as well, and you could go for maybe other contenders. I just think that with all the numbers, all the goals, all the records that Erling Haaland has already achieved this season, even if City end up not winning the title, it would have been very difficult not to give it to Erling Haaland.
As for second and third, do you agree Saka and Odegaard this season so far?
Yeah, you could have swapped them around either way. But I'm with Jules. You can't argue with goals. Listen, that's why we play the game. That's what we love about the game. That's what the game's about. It's about goals. And when you're breaking every sort of record pretty much there is, how can you not win it? So, yeah, absolutely. Regardless of who ends up winning the Premier League, which it will be City, but even if Arsenal do win it, you can't change it from Haaland. The guy's been absolutely phenomenal.
Are you OK with that top three there, Don?
Yeah, top three is good, pretty solid. Three outstanding players. I think the only contradiction to that is, you know, what if Kevin De Bruyne has an amazing couple of weeks and scores decisive goals, Champions League final, etc., walks away with the treble, and he's, you know, say he bangs in a couple of goals on the last day of the season if Man City are behind like they were last season against Villa, and he turns it around, and all of a sudden your perception is, in the short term, De Bruyne has been amazing. So I find it very strange that we don't wait until the last ball's kicked. But you can't argue with these two young boys. Bukayo Saka has been outstanding. He's been in incredible form. A little bit quiet the last couple of weeks, but Odegaard's been, you know, a classy player, captain of a huge football club, a fantastic young individual as well, on and off the pitch. And he's such a classy player to watch. So, yeah, I think I'm quite comfortable. But what if De Bruyne has an amazing couple of weeks?
Would you have De Bruyne over these two, Stevie?
Oh, wow. That's a tough question. Because we haven't seen anything like this from either of these two, Odegaard or Saka, I think it's easier to put them in there. You know, we've seen this from De Bruyne previously, so it's almost kind of, well, we know how good he is, and he's just doing what we know he can do. So in some ways, you know, if that, I mean, Don's talking about if he scores a winning goal in the two cup finals and scores in the last game of the Premier League, then maybe people would look at it differently. But I just guess he's up against what he's done previously. We know what De Bruyne is all about. What he's doing is exactly what we know he can do. So in some ways, that kind of goes against him.
Do you agree, Jules?
Yes, and also I think, let's not forget that, you know, Pep Guardiola benched Kevin De Bruyne earlier in the season because he was not happy with him. I mean, some of the comments that Pep said on De Bruyne like, you know, he was not good enough. He need to go back to basic. I need him better. I want him better. This award is also for consistency. And Haaland has been so consistent, like Stevie was saying, by scoring goals. I mean, he's got 6 hat-tricks this season. 6 hat-tricks in one Premier League season. I mean, some of the top goal scorers we've seen in the league don't even have 6 hat-tricks in their whole Premier League career. So he's done it in one season. And with De Bruyne, this season, again, like we've seen at times in the past, it's been a lot of great moments and highs. And like Don said, it could be still some highs between now and the end of the season. But also some moments where even his own manager in Pep Guardiola was not happy with his performances. So De Bruyne is an amazing player, of course. He's finished 3rd in the last Ballon d'Or, so it's very special. But I think on this season, on what matters this season in terms of consistency, in performances, in results, in what you brought to your team, I still think that Haaland is above him, even if De Bruyne does really well between now and the end of the season.
Let's take a look at some of the notable winners from the past when it comes to the Football Writers Association Award, shall we? Obviously, Erling Haaland, one of the most recent ones, Mo Salah, Cristiano Ronaldo, Thierry Henry, Gary Lineker, John Barnes, down there in 1989. Mr. Stevie Nicol. This meant a lot to you, Stevie, back then. Why was this award so important to you on the individual level?
Oh, do you know, I've got to say, it's not until you get a bit older and you start thinking about it more. But, you know, it's coming from people that watch every single step that you take. And they're watching not just you personally, but every other footballer in the country. So you're getting judged on every player in the country. And to be picked as supposedly the best in the country, my goodness. I mean, you think of the history of English football and you think of the people that have won it before me and have won it since. And to be able to look at that list and see your name on it, it's like, really? Did it really happen?
But it did happen.
But it did.
Doesn't often happen to defenders either. I think since you, there's only been Ruben Dias.
Dias, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously a very special moment as well. I wonder what the percentage was of the votes for you. We've just seen it was unprecedented for Erling Haaland, so we know it wouldn't have been more than 82%. What do you reckon, Don, seeing as though you are the percentage expert?
Who cares? As long as it was 1% more than the guy that was second, that's what it matters.
Yeah, I am the percentage expert, but I can't remember 1989 in terms of all the players that were excelling. But obviously, Stevie was the top man in that Liverpool side. So, hey, listen, as Stevie said, if it's 51, happy days.
We might never know, because do you remember how we've been talking this week about delving a little deeper when it comes to some of the reports? Well, our producer delved a little deeper. He actually rang the FWA, and they responded quickly as well, to see if they could tell him the percentage that you got. And apparently the records were destroyed in a fire. So we'll never know. So we could just say 81% if you want, Stevie.
All right. Well, maybe I didn't win it and they got it wrong. Maybe something.
No, you definitely won it.
Yeah, OK. I'll believe
Should we give it the old 81%?
Hey, I've got the award in the house, so that's all you need. That's all that matters. Forget the percentages.
Yeah, always a very special one. OK, let's move on.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.